I think a lot of people say that, right? Leadership is lonely. And I think it is in the context that at the end of the day, you're the person who has to make those final tough decisions. No one else can make them for you, right? But the truth is, you have the most amazing team around you.
There was a period of time in which you were a wing commander.
Oh, sure.
Yes. And I
Yeah.
think, being a wing commander already is an amazing feat. But you were a wing commander during a time that I think was unprecedented in our country,
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah. Yeah, it was an interesting time. I took the flag for at Joint Base Lewis McChord in early January. I assume this is 2020, early January 2020, and literally a month later, I was dealing with the first cases of COVID in the Seattle area. And so it went from being like, this is everything I've worked really hard for, and I am so excited to lead this amazing organization, to this, I have never done anything like this before. No one has, and no one really has a whole lot of advice on what we're going to do next. And we're going to have to figure this out.
Just for us to understand, when you're a wing commander, like how large is this wing and kind of what are the responsibilities that you were having to oversee while you're navigating a medical crisis?
Yeah. So the wing is about 2,400 airmen.
Okay.
It's a C-17 wing. And so mobility operations never stop, right?
Yes.
24 hours a day, we're flying airplanes. I also had a clinic at the time and then an airfield to run.
Okay. I imagine as a wing commander, while you do have a network in the way of working with your those that are supporting you and all the experts, it still can probably be a little bit lonely. How do you navigate that? How did you navigate that?
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people say that, right? Leadership is lonely. And I think it is in the context that at the end of the day, you're the person who has to make those final tough decisions. No one else can make them for you, right? But the truth is, you have the most amazing team around you, right? I had, during my time as a wing commander, 2 of the most amazing senior enlisted leaders, 2 chiefs. My group commanders, also colonels, were really, really incredible and experienced. And then the wing commander network is actually pretty powerful too. So you have peers that you've grown up with as squadron commanders who are now in charge of other wings, dealing with similar things. And so you lean into that.
When I think about the airmen that you were, leading, they had their families and their own concerns as well. What was a challenging moment as a leader that you had to navigate, maybe where you weren't popular, or did you feel like you actually navigated in a space where everyone loved you?
No.
No.
I mean, unfortunately, at the end of the day, you do have to make some of those really tough decisions. And so for us at McChord, we were in the middle of the biggest movement of nuclear weapons in history. And so an incredibly important no-fail mission, right? And so my main focus was, how do I keep specifically my crews that are trained to carry nuclear weapons, how do I keep them healthy?
Right.
We don't have a lot of them. So if a couple of them get sick or something happens, then the mission really is at risk.
Right.
So I really was focused on how to keep them healthy. But I also was just broadly worried about my older civilians who might be more susceptible to either getting COVID or having a real impact from it. I was worried about my airmen who had family members who might be immune compromised.
Yes.
I was worried about airmen who might go home and take it to their parents or grandparents. So it wasn't quite as simple as, well, our airmen are young and healthy. It's a much more challenging problem than that. And so when COVID was really bad, kind of the fall going into Christmas of 2020, one of the things I had to do was decide, am I going to let my airmen travel? The Air Force would eventually take care of that decision for me. But when the airmen are here, can they get together and celebrate the holidays?
Right.
Are they going to have to spend Thanksgiving alone? What kind of tough decisions am I going to have to make here? And so, I probably made some pretty unpopular decisions, thinking at the time that I was protecting the mission. And the way I handled it was it kind of goes back to one of those lessons I learned earlier was transparency.
Yes.
We started doing things like Facebook Lives. We let people ask as many questions as they wanted to or were brave enough to.
Yes.
And tried to do our best to answer them. And we also tried to convey that we know we're not making perfect decisions right now.
Right.
Like we're learning to right now, and just tried to be very human about it.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this leadership lesson and this A jacket, watch the full episode by hitting the thumbnail here and subscribe now to get the latest episodes of Long Blue Leadership delivered directly to your YouTube feed or wherever you get your podcasts.